All right. Super excited. It's episode 46 of the Pursuit of Sound with dblcrwn podcast. And I couldn't be more honored to have you on, Julian. We know you as JuJu Beats. Yeah, dude, you just got back from Soulfest, right?
Yes, sir, man. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
Amen. How's it in Atlanta today?
Dude, actually, I'm down in Florida right now at my mom's house in Tarpon Springs. It's like right outside Tampa.
Nice.
Yeah, man, enjoying some time down here on the beach.
That's what's up. Yeah, it shouldn't be too far away from Vortex Springs where Soulfest was, right?
It was, unfortunately. It's about 6 hours away from here.
Dude, yeah. So Florida, it can take 12 hours just to get through Florida in and of itself.
Yeah. No, it was actually kind of cool, man, because the festival event media manager, he needed a ride back down to Florida. It just happened to be the direction I was going, so I got to like link up with him and network. It was pretty cool.
Nice, dude. Yeah, because I was trying to go back through my mental Rolodex, and I thought for a quick second that the first time I saw you was at Past the Good in Vortex Springs in 2016, but it was actually Zen Awakening in Florida. I forget what city it was exactly. For Zen Awakening, 2017.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's really cool, man. They were both this weekend with me. Both of those owners of those festivals. I actually got to play on their Past the Good Renegade. It was the official Renegade in the Soul Sanctuary, so it was really cool, man. They had full production and everything out there. They had full permission from the festival and everything, so it was amazing.
Whoa, wait, so Past the Good is still kicking?
Yeah, man. So it's like a full nonprofit now. Everything goes to the family of Stuart Beck that passed. He was the owner of the festival, and they're still doing great. I actually played their New Year's Eve this weekend in this year in Pensacola.
How was that?
It was incredible, man. We almost sold it out, and it was cool. I brought a bunch of homies that went to high school with me down there, and it was a good time, man. Brought in the year proper.
What? I like to hear that, man. Yeah, Florida's just been doing really well with like the whole dance scene and everything.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. Since just in the past couple months, I've played Daytona, St. Petersburg, and Orlando.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the
Miami for Love Burn a couple months ago? But last minute I had to cancel my flight, unfortunately. But ended up raining super bad that Sunday. But I wish I could have went anyways.
You've been busy.
Thank you, man. I've been trying.
Oh, good on you. I got to see you again recently when you came to Charleston. It's for the Unicorns vs. Pirates show. You remember that?
That was so much fun, man. That was a lot of fun, dude.
Dude, for real. You really did us a good one on that set, man. I mean, dude, you just like have this trademark sound about you, and I think we all just can't get enough of it.
That means a lot, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah, dude. But still, tell me a little bit more about Soulfest before we move on past that.
I mean, hands down, it was one of the best festival experience I've ever had. Luckily, I didn't have to deal with any issues. The only issue I had was I got there really late Friday night, and they had already given out all the artist bands, so they had to give me a VIP band, which kind of stopped me from doing the things I wanted to do this weekend. But it was still overall like amazing experience. I got to meet the festival organizers and everything. They were all really, really nice, and I hope that I'll be back next year.
Dude, amen to that. Yeah, and I want to touch back also really quick on my memory of you at Zen Awakening. I'm pretty sure I told you this story when you were here in Charleston after your set, but it was like I was walking by that stage that you were on, and I was sort of just like, I was like, yeah, this dude knows what's up, and I, stopped and listened and just like vibed out, and then like some, forget like one or two or some of your homies got on stage and they're like, yo, give it up for JuJu Beats. He's literally been like producing for like a year now and he's already come this far and this dude's gonna go places. I was like, dang, this dude, like a very prodigious, like auspicious beginning. Like you seem to have hit the ground running, in other words.
Thank you, man. Can you see me? My computer froze. Oh, there
Oh,
we
there we go. Yep,
go.
yep.
Yeah, man. Thank you, dude. I've been doing this for half my life, man. My first festival I played was all the way back in 2012. So it's just been a slow progress, but I mean now things are starting to pay off after all these years.
What was the 2012 festival?
It was called Impulse Music Festival. It was incredible, man. It had tons of huge headliners on there. It was crazy because back then a lot of these big names now were on the bottom row. Like Hero Bus was like on the bottom row back then, and it was
Crazy.
it's just really cool to see where everyone's at now, man. And that's where I actually met That's Dope Records, and they took me on tour with like Easy Baked and Smokestacks, bunch of big names now that Yeti, Toadface were on there, and it's just really cool to build those friendships early on, and you know the the shows that we're playing now together. It's just cool to like see how far we've come.
Oh my God, no, for real. And as I was going back through like the Zen Awakening lineup from that 2017, I was just like looking at all the names, and it's the same difference, dude. I mean, these people, I'm proud of everybody that stayed with it, especially through COVID and all that BS. It goes to show consistency is key, and you stick with something long enough, you'll start to see results and growth will happen. So when you were in 2012, how old were you back then? How old are you now?
I turned 32 next month, man.
Dang, yo, you were in it since, yeah, 22,
Yeah,
22 years old. And then
about
was
20. I was under 21.
oh my God.
Yeah.
And then dude, that just has to be like surreal just to be able to like kind of do that, which, getting onto your first festival is always like a big deal in and of itself. And then getting picked up and hitting the road with Easy Baked and them boys, like were you, when did you exactly start producing? Because I don't know if my memory was correct about like that dude being like a year ago, like he just started producing a year ago or whatever. But like, what was, when
I
did
started
you?
producing about ninth grade, actually. Uh, and I was kind of making like hip hop beats and stuff like that. And people
Yeah.
call me Juju my whole life, and I was making beats, so it just made sense to say Juju Beats. A lot of the hip hop producers back then, they would go by Beats at the end of their name, so it just kind of stuck with it. And I've always thought about rebranding and stuff, but anytime I brought that idea up with people that they look out for me, they're like, dude, just keep going with the JuJu Beats thing, like it'll pay off eventually, like build that brand. So that's kind of where I'm at now. Like I started my own label, Mukti
Oh,
Music Group, and back in 2020, right before COVID hit, and it kind of slowed down everything, but we were throwing shows and everything. We had some pretty cool names on there, like Chimera, Alejo, Zeppelin, some pretty cool names, man. So I'm really trying to like focus more on the label these days now that I was able to kind of get back from COVID with my project. Now it's time to start focusing more on the label.
what was the name of it again? Multi, what did you say?
Mukti Music Group, Mukti.
Huh. Mukti. Where did that come from?
Basically, Mukti is like it means spiritual enlightenment, basically.
That's what's up, dude. I dig it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, check it out, dude. I haven't really released anything in the past like 6 months on there, but I'm looking to make the next compilation soon. I got some submissions coming in that are really, really good.
That's what's up, dude. Is it one of those things where you encourage people to submit? If so, you can plug that into this podcast. Be like, hey, this
Yeah.
email or whatever.
Yeah, so it's Mukti Music Group at gmail.com. Really simple if anyone's interested, and I love to hear it, man. I don't really have like, I don't really tell anyone to like make like a certain sound. I really like influence people to make things that they're not usually making, things that they want to make themselves, like focus on, things that make them happy, you know what I mean? Like things that they want to hear, not rather than, what other people are trying to hear.
Dude, yeah, it's so easy to get kind of, I'd say, like disjointed with influences, like where so many people can start sounding like the next like person or whatever. Whereas, like, yeah, I love JuJu Beats. I'm gonna make a song like him so I can be like him. No, instead, it's like, I feel like even as a producer myself, the best work comes from things that really just that you want to make, like,
Exactly.
and not a somebody else type beat or
And
whatever.
it ends up coming, like some of their highest played tracks sometimes, it just shows you that, sticking true to your sound, will eventually pay off. And that's, things that, I've had to learn. It took a long time for me to even find the sound that I like more than others, because I just like to play a bunch of genres.
Right on, which kind of like leads me to a question I wanted to ask you about. So the music in your sets, like what, how much do you like to have it percentage wise between like other people's music and your original productions? Like, I'm sure it differs like with each show and all, but like, is there any sort of like, you have an idea about that?
These days it's kind of 50-50, man, just because a lot of homies, they'll send me their plates, and I like to play like, unreleased stuff as much as I can. So, if it's like a homies track and, it's really good, I'll always put it in the set, and it ends up being hard to fit in the stuff that I want to play that's mine. But for shows that are like I'm headlining and that are like, more of like an opportunity for me to showcase my sound, then I'll play more originals. But if it's like a DJ set or direct support, or like, and just like a new, market that doesn't have like, a really big audience yet, where I can kind of just play whatever I want to play, then I'll play a lot of homies stuff and other people's music. I'll do a lot of edits. So if I am playing like another popular song that is released, I'll try to in the DAW pre-hand kind of arrange it the way I like to and add like my own style to it.
Yes, sir. So how exactly did you kind of, because yeah, when you started out in ninth grade and you're like producing like hip hop beats and all that stuff, like what was the shift to like more like, experimental weird bassy stuff? Like how did that happen? Like,
Um, I ended up going to raves in Atlanta at a young age. Like basically hopping the fence to get in, like not even 18 years old. And so like I got to see like a lot of amazing experimental electronic music coming up, and I was just fascinated. I remember hearing it for the first time and hearing names like, Hero Bust and names like, Stefan Jacobs and I mean, there's so many names now that are killing it now, that, hearing them back then was just so like life changing to me, and getting to work with them now is just like full circle. It's really cool, man.
so speaking of that too, I want to get to the whole LSD, I mean the LS Dream Doy like remix thing. But before we get to that, I did want to ask about the DAWs in specific that you like started in and like moved through. It's up until whatever DAW you use now, if it's any different from back then.
I first started with FL Studio, and that's what I'm still on today. But I actually went to Atlanta Institute of Digital Music for Ableton production, and I stuck with Ableton for a while. Some of my first sets ever was in Ableton Live Pushpad, but for some reason I just didn't feel comfortable in Ableton, and I still collab with other people in Ableton, but I'm just way more versatile. Like I just love FL, like the layout and everything. I can work so much faster.
Dang, dude. Yeah, I hear that, dude. People, FL is still pretty darn prevalent. I mean, it's between that and Ableton for sure. And like,
Yeah.
I don't really hear about people using much else. And that's cool. Which version?
I don't have the like final update that they have available right now, but I have like the one that was like the last one. I don't really remember the number. I'm terrible with numbers.
It's fine. You focus on what you need to focus on, and that's your business. And then so what sort of like VSTs, synth VSTs do you like to primarily use? Like we're talking Serum, like
A lot of my sound is on Serum, and it has been. But now I've been working on Vital a lot, and it's just been so much fun, man. I absolutely love the Vital sounds. But I mean, it's like I try to use as much as I can, and just always learn and try to like read the manuals so I can like really use the program how it should be.
yeah, because there's so much to these like VSTs under the hood and everything. Like Serum can go from anywhere from like entry level to like extremely advanced.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, what you're capable of these days, and just staying up to date with, the newest methods and just the technology available, man. Even like AI, I don't like use AI to write melodies and stuff like that, but I'll use it for like to like strip down like stems and stuff out of other songs to like remix and stuff. It's pretty cool, like what you can do with it.
Dude, yeah, I've yet to delve into this like the AI kind of type of stuff. Like for taking a single track down to stems, I've been using it's like RX by Isotope. It's just like a kind of like a standalone, and there's a section in there where you can basically just like get 4 stems, and it could be better, it could be a lot worse, but as far as getting like artifacts in some of the stems, it's kind of hard to avoid that. But
Yeah, it's not perfect yet, but it's better to use it as like a tool, not like the final thing. It's just like I'll use mastering softwares, and it'll kind of give you like an AI button that gives you like a reference of how things should sound, and then you can kind of go from there, rather than starting the whole thing from ground zero. It's just nice to have like that tool to help you.
no, for sure, dude. So I personally use like a mix between like chiefly like Isotope, Ozone, and like like Fab Filter kind of type stuff for when it comes to the mastering chain, and like some other waves things and whatnot. But what do you find yourself kind of like? What is that program that you were referring to with like the kind of like assisted start thing for the mastering?
It's man, my mind is blanking right now. It's what is it called? I could pull it up for you. Hold on one second.
All good.
It's called Neutron.
Okay, I believe I've heard of Neutron. If I'm not mistaken, it might be in the Isotope
Yes.
family. Okay, yeah. Isotope. Dude, there's so many freaking plugins, dude. It's like impossible to keep up with like every single little thing, dude. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it really is. You know, there's hundreds, if not thousands. That's why I try to like really keep it simple. I feel like simplicity really is key, and it took me a long time to learn that. But the more you kind of keep that in mind, you know, Il Gates talks about it all the time about just kind of saying yes, say yes to everything, and then slowly start to make it more simpler and simpler and simpler, and you know, find the best ideas out of those, all the ideas possible, you know.
yeah. So when it comes to the the synthesis, like, is it like a mix between like you sitting there and like working on like a specific sound like from scratch, or do you like say get like some presets from wherever online and then kind of like piddle with the presets
Mhm.
to turn it into.
I'll do both. You know, I'll find tutorials on YouTube to make, you know, your own sound, and then I'll go from there. But a lot of it is just trial and error, and just finding, you know, your own sound that, you know, that you stick with, which also is difficult. You know what I mean? Because you want to make a bunch of noises sometimes, but I noticed that it is good to just stick with a handful and, you know, add versatility here and there to it.
Is there like one plugin like or like effect in specific that just always does it for you, like, oh, like, throw like a flange on like this synth or whatever.
So I'll always add a sub layer behind all my bass lines, and I've just noticed that just makes everything way more effective to all my sound design. I'll just kind of scoop everything out to the high ranges, and then with the low range, just scoop everything out to the low range and just boost the shit out of that and just make everything just sound way more rounded than, you know, I've noticed some of these, you know, like Serum and Vital and stuff, they're not really low and heavy with some of the sounds that you're looking for. Like it is, but it's not as low as it can go, you know.
Yeah, so you just kind of like work with a separate sub bass
Hmm.
and then yeah, like maybe just like high pass it to like where you just like
Correct.
maybe around like 60 hertz or something, then everything else you just kind of vice versa the
And it's
filters.
it's always one sub that I use, and it's just the loudest sub that I've found so far. Um, but I've heard that there's some analog subs that are obviously better. So I'm trying to work more on analog sounds these days, which I just got like a whole analog synthesizer. So I've just been learning that side of things, and it's just a whole new realm of of music, man. It's insane.
Nice, dude. And then so you've been like mastering all your tracks yourself for like a while?
Yeah, I mix and master everything, but I will send it to some friends. Lately, Xenotype has been mastering a lot of my stuff, and my homie Trip Out West has been as well. And half of Beard Thug, he goes by Malachi now. He's also a beast. So I try to just find, you know, people that can really push it way further than I can, and I'll invest in that. You know, just, you know, whatever they think is fair price, and get it sounding professional, because they run it through analog equipment and stuff sometimes, so it makes it just more than I could possibly do on my
Yeah.
softwares.
So then now to this the LS Dream remix, like the Moonlegs. What do you how did that even how did you get that opportunity, dude?
It's actually kind of cool story, man. So I submitted a bunch of music to Closy's team, and it took a long time for me to get in touch with them, but they ended up, you know, being very, very nice and very very kind. Sorry, I lost my voice this weekend at the festival, so trying to get it back. But they ended up, loving, what I had to offer, and they put my song on one of their compilations, and ended up being like one of the highest played tracks on the compilation. And she said that, her team with Red Light said that I would be a great fit for Sammy's remix compilation coming out soon, and introduced me to him. And he was so nice, man. And, like they love the remix. And I worked on it for like 6 months, and now it's out on Waakan. And it's just, it's because of Closey that I was on that. So I'm super thankful for that opportunity, man.
Dang. So getting through to Closey and her team, was that just like a bunch of cold emails, or like was
Mhm.
there somebody really? It was
Yeah,
like that?
sent them, personal emails, and they were really busy at the time with the Closey tour that she was on. And once they finally responded, man, it was they've just been so responsive and so welcoming. It's just been amazing.
Dude, I bet when you got that email, you were like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. I mean, she sent me a whole bunch of merch, official merch. Like, she's just like, I a huge fan of Closey, so it's just been amazing. I wasn't there Friday because I got there late Friday night, unfortunately, because I had to pick my son up from school and drop him off with my mother. But that was the
Oh,
only reason why I was late, family first. But
of course.
she played my original that is on the compilation at the pool party takeover. So I wish I could have been there for that, but man, I'm just super thankful that she's a fan of the project, man.
Well, speaking of these artists that you look up to, like who have you been really listening to a lot lately that you've been just really like can't get enough of their sound?
Honestly, Ella's Dream, man, and Cozy, like this, it's just the sound that I've been trying to find. And just any of the like freeform bass music, like Of the Trees.
I was
I
about to
just heard
say,
Daily Bread this weekend for the first time, which is crazy because I'm from Atlanta. And
yeah, what?
he was my favorite set of the whole weekend. So I just love that experimental bass music, man, with the crazy like hip hop samples and stuff. Like, that's really melodic, and with the bass lines, like I love that kind of stuff, man.
Oh, dude, who I recently just got like addicted to was, I mean, it's not even recently. I've been on them for like a hot second, but Zodix, you familiar?
Exotics,
Yeah,
yeah,
Zodix.
they're insane, dude. Their sound design is crazy, crazy, and it's cool because they've been liking some of my tracks and stuff lately, which is cool to see that because I play a lot of their music, man. Like, they're dope.
Yeah, they were instant. I was an instant fan. And then I was trying to think about some of the people that were on that Soul Fest. Wasn't some new cats that came out? Levity, were they on?
Yeah,
Like,
so dude, they played like 4 sets over the weekend. They were all super hype, like packed out crowds. And the owners of the festival, they heard that I was coming, and they were super stoked. So they worked it out with the Past the Good stage for me to be direct support for Levity, back to back, big gigantic Friday night for like 3,000 people, and it was probably the biggest crowd I've ever played for. So it was, I mean, that was a crazy opportunity. I got to meet the Levity boys and Big G, man, and they were just super nice people, man.
wow. Dude, that's just larger than life. I'm so proud of you, dude.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Um, dude, I saw that you got a show coming up on May 17 in Asheville with Buku.
Dude, so I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but I've been talking with the promoters, and we might have to reschedule for October for that one. Unfortunately, I'm super bummed about it, man, because I mean, I just, like, I love Asheville. I haven't been out there in forever. I had a bunch of homies that had already planned on coming, but I think it kind of worked out. So if I do play in October, they're gonna arrange a few other stops in the cities around it to make it kind of like a little tour. So hopefully that'll work out, man. But regardless, dude, I'll be out there soon, man.
Man, yeah, because I saw that pop up on your Spotify. So,
Yeah, I don't know if they
no,
announced their reschedule yet, but I just got that message last week, so I was a little bummed, man. I told them like, just wait it out, but it's just how it is these days. It's hard to sell tickets sometimes, man.
sheesh, dude. I'd like to think that Buku can like, like it would like he would sell himself. Like I feel like he's a. Anyways,
And Buku was one of those names, on that festival back in like 2012. Man, he's just one of those OGs, dude. Like, super cool, dude.
amen, dude. Yeah, he's been. I'm surprised. I'm surprised he hasn't blown up like a little bit more. Although he's definitely like, people know about him. I'm just he's got a really, I think, cool sound and everything. Dude, so when y'all were playing at Soulfest, what kind of sound systems were y'all working with?
Basically all of them, man. There were some pretty nice sound systems there this weekend. I heard Hennessy was one of their largest deployments they've ever done besides Electric Forest. So
Dang, do you have like a specific sound system that you like more than another, or like, oh, like,
the
yeah,
Dantees and the Hennessy's, man, that's really my favorite. But there's some really good ones, man.
have you
That
played
are
on
boutique,
function?
the boutique speakers. Those are really where it's at. That have like just people that are really passionate about speakers making them.
Yeah, like it's one of those things that you kind of like until you listen to music through one of those systems and you know what it would sound like on another system. It's like a whole nother level of definition that like there's just so much more like sound information. I don't know.
I mean, like, my studio monitors, I was, using KRK forever, and now I'm using Atom Audios, and they're just phenomenally way better than the KRKs. Like, they're insane.
Dude, yeah, those are the ones with like it's like got the three little like metallic looking
Yeah,
pieces.
it has like some suspended magnetic, like, technology in it that was invented by like some crazy freaking German scientist, dude. Like, I don't even know, dude. It's like next level stuff, dude.
Yeah, I think this is the one that my roommate has. Those atoms, yeah, and it's just like the high end is like super clear.
And the
Every
low end is amazing. I had the Atom sub too, with
Mm,
it, and ever since I got the sub with it, man, it's been a game changer. Like, the references I have now are just super honest, and I just noticed that a huge level up in the quality of my mix downs.
Jeez, what are the sizes of the monitors in the sub?
I got the Atom 8s,
Uh-huh.
which isn't the biggest, but it's not the smallest, and it's all I need, because if you have like really big monitors in just a small room, it's kind of too much, like, unless you really have it dialed in. So these are
Yeah,
just good enough, and still, like, I need to treat my studio a little bit better with the just the
the
padding
acoustic
and the room and
walls.
everything, but um slowly, it's starting to come together, building the studio over all the years, and it's it's just a learning experience, man. It's really fun though. Like, still, like, doing this for 15 years, I'm still learning stuff every day.
Yeah, dude, there's so much to learn. How big is the sub, really quick?
I think it's the 8-2. I don't. It might be the 10. I'd have to look it up. I don't really remember. Like I said, dude, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'm great
No,
with
it's fine.
names.
I have it. It's like the same with me for certain things too, where it's like one would think that I would know the thing better, and I'm like, like I got so much other stuff like on going through my head. Like it's
Yeah,
not the most important thing what the size of the fucking subwoofer would be.
yeah.
But
I'm
I
a
was just
little bit of
curious.
a savant at times, but
Oh my gosh. So what's that like? Is it like it's like a room in the place that you stay that you just have like dedicated to the studio?
mm, I'll move it around, and I'll take it to friends' houses and just with me on tour stops and stuff, and just try to stay busy, and not get super far behind on projects. So um, lately, like I have like almost over 30 unreleased tracks that I'm working on trying to finish. So just trying
Dang.
to stay busy in the studio, man, is really important to me right now.
Amen. So then what is like what as of recent, what's a day in the life of JuJu Beats like?
So man, I'm a father first, dude. Like my son, he turns 10 next month, and
Wow.
like that's the most important thing in my life, man. Like I'm a father first, and the music comes second. So like I'm super passionate about just being a dad, man, and it's my whole world right now. So
Amen.
my whole day really consists of me just waking up early, taking him to school, picking him up, and just hanging out with him, making sure he's doing his homework, taking him to soccer practice, and just work on music all night after that.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, like very similar with like my best friend Deslin, who's also my bandmate. We he's a full-time dad as well. We're both about the same age too, and yeah, it's like daytime is just really occupied with being a good father and yeah, picking like taking her to school, picking her up, doing all the regular parent stuff. So that's huge respect on that. And then you just kind of you're able to migrate into a workflow at night.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's cool because he's just so involved in what I'm doing, and like just like always asking questions. Like I put FL Studio on his laptop, and now he's making beats and like writing lyrics, and he's not even 10, and it's really good stuff. Like he's a really good singer, and it's just so cool to see that, like that little you, man. It's just awesome, man. Like he's big into gaming, and he's making his own video games now. Like he's in advanced
Wow.
math. Like he's already 2 grades above math. Like he's just a genius, man. I just super proud.
Dang, dude, that makes me so happy to hear, dude.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, cuz it's like start to think about like what that is like uh for somebody like your son who their dad is a
yeah,
full-time like electronic music producer, what that would be like from their perspective. Like do they does he like your music a lot? Like is he
he'll
get like
call me out, dude. He'll let me know what sounds good and what doesn't.
oh my god, it just blows my mind because I mean, think about it. Back when we were that age, there was like this the way that this like music sounds these days is like
Yeah,
just so mind bending.
yeah. It's
Like it
amazing, like seeing some of these younger cats, man. Like um, Chimera, for example, like he's an absolute beast, man. And when he was playing shows with me early on, he wasn't even allowed to come to the green room. He had to leave immediately after a set because he was underage. Like it's just crazy.
wait, who is this?
Chimera,
I don't know. How do you spell that?
Chmura. He's playing all the big shows these days. Like he's completely on top.
Whoa,
Yeah.
I feel out of the loop. I'll have to check him out after this. Um,
There's tons of names, man. Like I could name five off the top of my head that have been doing this since they were a teenager, man. And it's just crazy, how progressed they are. They learn so much faster, man. And like I wish that when I was younger, the scene was how it was. Like back when I was first starting off, there wasn't really that many opportunities for DJs. But now, dude, it's thriving. Like, it's better than it's ever been. So it's really cool to see these younger cats that have great opportunities available.
So, and that kind of leads me into what I kind of want to get at with you next on is like, okay, so the whole thing, like, get this, the podcast is called The Pursuit of Sound. And so it's like, I'm curious as to like what your specific advice would be to up and coming producers and everything. It's like, because I'm, we kind of like glazed over it where you're just like, yeah, like, all of a sudden I got onto, this festival and then things just started to kind of happen. It's like, it's not as simple as that, like, and what was like, what were some big like breaking points in your career that you can tell people that are aspiring to be in a position like similar to yourself?
Right. Really, man, it's just networking and getting outside of your comfort zone, going up and shaking the hands and just building these relationships with people over time, and not really worrying about that immediate return, or even expect to make any money at all for like years, and just be passionate about the music, man, and just build that catalog and just keep submitting emails and going to these shows and showing support, to these promoters, and they'll see that and they'll respect that, and they'll return the favor. But really, where it's at, man, is just being your own boss, like being not just motivated, but like being disciplined, and just really not finding any excuses, and just believing in yourself, man, because it's hard to at first like trust that anything's gonna work out, but eventually it does, man. You just gotta stay positive.
Yeah. So when did you think that your hold on. So when did it become like an actual full-time thing for you?
um it was it was really luck I was really just lucky, man, starting off with some of these bigger names and playing shows with them, and direct support for some big names early on, not making a lot of money, but just having that opportunity. And it's just a learning experience, man. And then you get really good at throwing shows yourself and knowing what it takes to throw a show, and then eventually you can get put onto an agency. It's not going to really happen until you know that stuff yourself. And I got signed to Submission back in 2018, and I headlined 2 tours and headlined the Black Box, almost sold it out. Like, really cool stuff, man. But eventually I moved on with Prism now, and I might not even be with Prism forever. I'm just like trying to find the best option, man. United Talent Agency might seem like a good opportunity, but I'm loving what Prism is doing, man, and just a ton of homies on that agency. So it's just been really cool, man. Both with Submission and Prism have been just super helpful and making things, a lot easier for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's a huge benefit. Good things come to those who deserve it, and wait. But like, so then it's like, what you say? If 2018 was when you started working with Submission, it's like 6 years ago. Was that like the full time breaking point, or was it like a little bit that it was that?
I wasn't headlining my tours until then. I was always direct support and stuff, or just support. Um, so once I started actually headlining shows, it was just go time. I made me just double down and take things way more seriously. Just be super prepared for different opportunities. That are just it's hard to really like get a flow, of just being on the, show to show, going like just staying healthy, getting sleep, and just, it's something you learn over a time. Like, I see a lot of people get burnt out, but luckily, I've learned from my mistakes and I've learned from other people's mistakes, and it just takes time, man, to really get it down. But like I said, for anyone like trying to come up right now, man, it's just really, really take it seriously and take your health seriously and take your music seriously and your relationship seriously, and everything will work out, man.
Amen. That's sound advice. And so what was your last like job before you were able to make your break?
So I was doing music full time, even before I had my son, and he turns 10 next year, and I've been doing this for 12, 13 years now. So once I finally had my kid, I was like, man, I got to get a job, you know what I mean? So I started working, like dish pits, and I moved my way up to chef. And I was just really passionate about cooking, man. Like, I was a manager at my last job, and we were actually we had a food truck as well. So we would do festivals. We did Lost Lands. We did EDC, Soundhaven.
What?
So it was really cool to like be on the other side of things, like still getting to explore these festivals and network and meet other artists while I was there, working food. But it's tiring, man. The food industry is a different animal, dude. Like, I had no time to work on music at the end of the day, and it was especially when you're the manager at a restaurant, it's brutal. But it's I'm super passionate about food, man. Like, I love cooking.
Oh, that's what's up. What kind of cuisine was it, may I ask?
It was South African, actually,
Ooh,
which
South
was
African.
delicious, man. Super good. Like, and it's a cool learning experience, man. Just, learning the food and the culture. And um, it was called Baked Kitchen. So the whole logo was like red eyes. Like, we would just like smoke a joint before work. Like, it was perfect. I mean, it was just on brand for me. So
Lit, dude. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's one of those things that people tend to be really curious about, like for the come up aspect. Like for me, it was um like I got into DJing like clubs and stuff here in Charleston, and like that's really what was able to segue me out of my 9 to 5 into like just music, and then trapping out my studio with like local hip hop artists and beat producing and mixing and mastering, and then now getting into the wedding gigs and having like the multiple forms of income. I want to do what you're doing, where it's like, sure, like I've been doing full-time music for like a while, but I want it to be like original music. So, I do admire that in you, and I'm really stoked to see what the future holds for you, good sir.
thank you, man. I mean, dude, like, if you're just trying to build your own sound, I'd say just starting off doing remixes and edits, and then eventually, you start to understand the structure of songs, and how to make sense of ideas, because you can get something that sounds really good, but it's not going to work in a live set because there's no structure at all. So it's just
Yeah.
learning these tempos and just learning percussion, I'd say, like, is super important, just learning the drums first, because I noticed there's a lot of people that have a lot of potential, but their drums don't really make sense. And it's cool to have that experimental sound, but you also want to like show respect to the culture and have, things that are within a certain genre range. Like, it's cool to be multi-genre. I love it. But, just staying, dedicated and staying, aware and doing your research about the history of sound, and, you'll start to eventually find, ways to utilize that to make it sound unique in your own way. But it's super important to not just get like super crazy experimental with it, I learned, because it doesn't resonate with the crowd. It's not relatable.
Yeah, no, fortunately I've worked dude, yeah, I've been playing like drums, guitar, and bass since I was like 15. So yeah, I've been in the band. I started out in the band world, so it's like I can actually play instruments and keys and like, so like I I've like understood all that. Like I've been well aware of all this for a long time. It's
Yeah.
just like the fact that like it can just be a bitch to get your stuff heard by people in general. Like I can produce. Like I know song structure. I know what sounds too over the top. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
and
fortunately, it's like I'm not an idiot when it comes to the production. It's just a matter of time.
right. And man, really, dude, it's crazy because I'll hear people with insane sound design and just amazing ideas, but they don't have a big audience. And now it's becoming harder and harder to get on that algorithm. But really, just doing your research and marketing and staying hip with the algorithm and just investing back into the brand with ads and building your brand with merch and things that people can get familiar with and remember you, which it takes time. And not saying that even people that have that access to those things, it doesn't even still, it's not even fair, because I'll put up a song and it might get 200 plays or it might get 20,000 plays. It's really hard to tell where it's going to land in the feed, but just staying consistent and releasing content and sharing new whips and ideas and videos and showing your face. But I'm terrible with those things, man. I'm trying to get better at it too, dude. I hear you, man.
Yeah, we're at that age where it's kind of like, dude, the social media kind of, social media isn't like a reflection of life. Our reality is living like, not not in front of a screen like all the time. So you get it, I get it. It is one of those things. And yeah, dude. I mean, I was even like releasing a song a week there for probably like, I don't know, a few months at least at the end of last year, and then pretty much just had to pipe back to write my band's next album, which will be coming out soon. And then it's about that time I'm like getting I'm already like, I was working on a collab with me and my homie right before we started this chat. And so, yeah, it's just good to hear it from it's just good to hear these things from you, in specific. So I know, like,
Yeah,
not only do I appreciate that, but also all the listeners do
right.
too.
I mean, there's always progression to be made, like it's crazy because you'll achieve these goals and then you'll be like, well, what now? Like, it doesn't really make you like you don't want to just put it down and be like, okay, now I achieved what I need to achieve, like it's time to chill. Like you're still feeling like there's something else to learn, there's something else to achieve. And there is always, even for the most successful people. Like I've had a lot of people recently ask me for advice and want to get to the level where I'm at, but it's like, man, like I'm still not where I want to be at. Like there's so much more to learn, there's so much more to get to a point where you feel like, okay, like I did it, but it doesn't really, like it doesn't really happen like ever.
I, dude, no, I completely feel you. It's like that's like the way that the continuum of progress should kind of be. It's like
Yeah,
we're baby steps into achieving like these goals that you have, and then you're like, well, if I got here, then yeah, like it's not like you got there just to want to stop at that point of progress. No, like the way that drive is within you, it's like you just got to keep on outdoing yourself, and like that should be part of like
hmm,
just your passion behind
yeah.
what you do anyways in the first place.
And it's really easy to get burnt out like that. You just have to be super passionate, man, and just really just like I said, get outside of your comfort zone, man, and push yourself. And because you got to find what you're capable of, man. Like you're always going to be capable of better, and everyone's just equally as capable of being great. You just really have to put in that work, man. And it's it's not easy. There's times where it feels like it's not paying off, but it is. You just can't see it.
No, amen. So then segueing into the future, dude, where do you see yourself like in, I don't know, 5 years or something?
Man, I really want to start working with like recording songwriters, like hip hop artists, singers, bands, doing features, like just working on that side of the industry and not just EDM. Because I'm just big into music, man. I love music. One of my best friends from middle and high school is I don't know if you heard of him. He goes by Teddy Swims, and
Yeah, what? The dude with like all the tattoos and
yeah,
stuff? Wait, that's one of your friends from high school?
that's my boy, dude. We talk almost every week, man. Like,
Yeah, you
he's the man. He just got the #1 Billboard, like above Taylor Swift and all that for like the past month. And like he's about to go
what?
with like Aerosmith, and he's headlining the whole world tour right now. So it's just amazing to see like what you're capable of, man. Like it's just anything is possible, man. And it's just so cool to like just be inspired by just believing in yourself, man, and just sticking true to yourself and how far you can come. And I just noticed that like there's just more, there's just so much more to explore, man. Like I want to start working in movies and scoring film and writing
Yeah,
songs for
dude.
movies, and always want to like work DJing and playing shows and headlining and playing with other artists and touring and playing festivals and new markets. But within 5 years from now, I'm definitely going to be exploring more of the action, they say like the more mainstream side of things, but I wouldn't really call it mainstream. It's just like it's just good music to me, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious, what were like your influences growing up? Like what did your like parents like listen to like when y'all are like riding around or like what was like some of the very first like memories of like the music that you heard and then like what did that turn into? Like were you like a classic rock cat or like, you
Yeah.
know, describe this to me.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like it was pretty versatile. Like all the things that I was influenced as a kid. Like I started off playing guitar, with my friends, and just like tripping
What?
on mushrooms at the house parties, just like jamming out for hours, just so much fun, man. Like banging on the drums, just like at an early age, like middle school and stuff. So, my mom, she was big into raves and stuff. So like she would listen
What?
to like Tiesto and Armament Van Buren in the car and stuff, and just growing up riding around to that kind of music was just a really cool learning experience. I remember hearing electronic music in my mom's car and just thinking, how the hell are they making this? Like, it doesn't make sense to me how they're making these sounds. And just once you started to like learn how to make, like, I made a lot of house music growing up after doing the hip hop stuff. So I was making like trance and house music and just all kinds of, four on the floor type stuff and drum and bass and like whatever, man. Like I was just super just blown away by electronic music at an early age. And it was just, I'm really thankful for that.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah, because it's like you and I have completely like opposite like things about that. Like where it's like my parents, like my mom was like Beatles and like
Yeah.
yeah, Rolling Stones, Led
My dad
Zeppelin.
was listening to that kind of stuff. Like he was big into Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. And I was like, I remember the first time hearing Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, and I was just blown away. As much as I was EDM, I was like, how are they making this music? Like it's insane. And I actually saw Pink Floyd in concert, and I
What?
got to see Linkin Park in concert. I
No
went to all the
way.
Warp tours in Atlanta.
Oh, you were into Warp Tour?
Yeah, dude. So like I would like, dude,
What?
I loved fucking bands. I loved concerts. I went to probably 100 concerts before I even went to a rave. So like I've just been really lucky about like getting to see live music at a young age where it it inspired me, man, like crazy. Like I just wanted to be on that stage one day, you know?
Oh my gosh. So, um, what would you consider like it's so funny, like the word rave, it's like I don't for
They don't have
some reason
raves these days, I'll tell you that. If they say
yeah.
they're at a rave, it's a full on event with production and ticket sales. It's not a rave.
So what I want to hear it from you, like on your definition of a quote unquote rave.
Man, dude, just like a super underground, invite only, hard to find warehouse with like just a bunch of wide-eyed kids with no shirt on, like going till 6 or 7 in the morning, like just life-changing spiritual experiences for me, man, at a young age. But I've never experienced anything like that in the past 5, 7 years, really, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, now it's all like ticketed things and like
Which is
yeah.
cool too, man. Like you hear amazing music on proper sound systems rather than like some blown out speaker. It's like train wrecking their whole set. You know what I mean? But
God. Oh my gosh. Well, we just hit the hour mark. There's still some things I want to ask you. Is there anything that you wanted to even just say in general, like just things that you wanted to get off your chest? Like,
um, man, I mean, like you said, dude, there's a lot, a lot more to talk about. You know, it's been a great conversation, but it's just cool, man. Like I just feel like there is a lot to offer. I would say, you know, just if you see me at a show coming up, man, come out, support, give me a hug, like introduce yourself, man. I love to just meet you and just, you know, I just can't wait for the future, man, because I just got all this music that's coming out soon. I'm just super stoked, man, for the future. I just super thankful, man, and super blessed, man. I just overwhelmed with gratitude lately. It's been really awesome, man.
amen. That it truly emanates from your soul, and you are a very down to earth person. I like your approachability. That's why we're able to do this right now. So equal gratitude. And
Man, I
now,
appreciate you having me, man.
yeah, well, just a couple few questions, just to be on like the more jokey side of things, dude. Have you had any like okay, let's admit it, just like some straight up fails that might not have even had to been your fault, like say on stage where like somebody is like for me, I'll put one on the table for us really quick. I was playing this club here in Charleston. It was like it's like a bar club here in Charleston. There was a patio packed out, like completely packed out, shoulder to shoulder. I was DJing. It was super lit. And my friend was trying to tell me that the leg of my chair was like, I mean, the leg of my table was like needed to be adjusted. And I was like, dog, it's fine. Don't touch it. He's like, no, I got you. Boom, pulls the leg. And then it resulted in the whole entire controller like literally falling onto people. Like the table and the controller just fell in, like because it was so packed that it didn't fall on the ground. It just went onto everybody, and they're like, "What the?"
Yeah.
Do you have any like funny like stories like of just fails that are like hilarious?
Man, dude, tons, like tons, dude. Like, and I would say, man, just like don't beat yourself up. Don't hold yourself like too accountable for like the fuck ups. As long as like you learn from that experience, man, and just like don't beat yourself up because like I noticed like if you like start dwelling on, you know, like oh man, like that set wasn't the way I wanted to go, or that wasn't the experience I wanted to go, or maybe I like came across like, you know, like I met someone for the first time and I just wasn't as genuine as like don't really like beat yourself up because they might have even experienced it a different way. Like you might have saw like yourself making that mistake, but they were just like they they didn't think too much about it at all. And the more you dwell on that, and it just kind of makes things worse, man. If you just keep staying positive and just keep working on yourself and building yourself and learning from those mistakes, man, like because of course, dude, like I've made an ass of myself, like
No, yeah, no, it's like I don't have a problem with these things getting to me. Like it really slides off me like water on a fish. Well, I was just trying to get a story from you. Like what like
man, dude, like
like just a
I
funny
don't want to
story.
talk about the embarrassing things, but okay,
Come
so
on, dude. Like I said, I just told you a story of an example. Like one time I accidentally shot my laptop off of my stand with a CO2 cannon. Like
yeah,
it's not, like I'm not beating myself up over that. The laptop ended up being fine. I think it's silly and funny.
yeah.
Like, it's not
I mean,
self-deprecating.
there was, one instance where I just kept accidentally knocking drinks off the stage, and they would bring me a new one, and that one would go too. Dude, I felt so stupid. I was
Oh,
making a
that's
mess,
not bad at all.
making a
Maybe if
mess
you
on
spilled
stage.
it on somebody's equipment,
No, it
that could
wasn't on the equipment. It was just on the floor. But
oh, you've got to have worse fails than that. That ain't nothing, dude. Are you serious?
um,
If that's the worst thing that's happened to you, then
I
you
did
can be
mess the
blessed.
Whittler setup one time. I'm not gonna go too much in detail, but I made like a whole article about it, and I felt terrible. It was one of the first festivals I ever played, but we ended up being super close after that. I played a ton of shows with him, and the article is actually really funny because they were talking about how I like kind of messed this setup on accident, and but they said that I ended up having one of the best sets of the festival later that night, and linked like my whole SoundCloud. Was like, follow this cat. It worked out later, but it could have been worse. Like,
Oh my gosh. Have you ever had emergency loop mode come on?
oh yeah, stuff like that, man. And or like you don't notice, like you go on stage and the DJ before you will have like the tempo or like the sync on,
Oh
and then
yeah,
you
dude.
start playing stuff in double time, and you got to start over. It's embarrassing. But sometimes if you don't really like mention it on the mic, a lot of people won't catch it. If you just carry on, like I said, you don't dwell on that mistake. Like who was that girl that just played Coach? Or was it Coach?
Oh yeah, well, that was Grimes.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
like there, you know, there are ways to approach that differently, without making it super obvious. It kind of makes it way worse. A lot of people probably wouldn't have noticed if she would have just not mentioned it. But I
dude,
mean,
for real though.
it really is, it's just, it's a learning experience, man. And you're going to make mistakes coming up, especially early on. And even later, in your career, like I noticed a couple of, artists this weekend, just like the music will stop randomly because they hit the cue on accident instead of play. Like stuff like that happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, you're not going to be perfect, and don't ever like think that like, making a mistake is going to ruin like your career.
Uh,
It's not.
yeah, dude, no, I completely agree. I was just trying to get some silly stories out of you, literally. Yeah, if one little mess up like really gets to you, like, dude, yeah, that just I'm praying for you because it's not the end of the world and it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like you'll have a it's seriously like yeah, like that my emphasis is not on that at all. It's more or less just like
Yeah.
fun,
I wish I had
unfortunate
some more
things.
stories for you, man. I'm really trying to think, dude. It's actually been a long time since I've had any mistakes, thankfully.
Yeah, they get harder to make the more you are experienced, obviously. So,
Yeah.
those things tend to happen more in the beginning.
Yeah, man, it's really just believing in yourself. It's almost like being delusional. Like it just at sometimes that you really have to believe in yourself even when the odds are against you.
Yeah, dog. Well, then, just to pivot really quick to one of the final things I wanted to just pick your brain on is something I always kind of like to ask people because I'm kind of like a conspiracy head. Do you like conspiracies at all? Are you like any sort of conspiracy head? Like,
Yes, dude. Like, I graduated from the YouTube University, man. I've seen it all.
yeah.
Like, uh, I'm big into spirituality, man. Like, I'm big into aliens. I'm big into just like,
Have you
just knowledge, man. Like, I'm just so fascinated, man. Like,
have you seen any UFOs?
I have actually, yeah, I have twice.
Yo, me
And
too.
I like pretty vivid dreams about them too.
Yo, dreams are a whole nother thing. Yeah, I've seen way too many UFOs. It's kind of messed up. People, like everybody that knows me knows that, like, yeah, and like all that just leads into me digging more into like the conspiracy world. I think it's because I've seen so many UFOs is like why I'm so like low key. Like I love like conspiracy podcasts and stuff. And like it's just one of those things where I'm like, have you seen a UFO? Like what was that like for you? Like do you believe in Bigfoot? Like what do you think about
I believe
like
all of it has some truth to it. You know what I mean? I believe a lot of this information is, it's locked away at the Vatican or wherever it is, and it's there, man. They don't want us to have it, but if you just do your own research and also just do a lot of self journeying and spend time alone and figuring out, yourself, man, you start to unlock those Akashic records and kind of just learn everything without having to do, you know, like Sadhguru, like he knows all these amazing things, and he says he's never read a book in his life, and it's like, how does that make sense? Like,
yeah, just experience things. So what was your like briefly explain these alien sightings, like UFO sightings to me. I'm very curious.
um, they're invisible, right? So it's hard to see it here in the third dimension. Um, but I mean, I've come across like on an airplane. I was on a private plane outside of like the normal flight, like zones they have, and I got it on video, man. It was like super crazy, dude. Like it was like you could just see it, dude. Like right there, dude. Like it was crazy. It was in Texas, and
What was the shape of it? Was it like a typical saucer? Like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
and it was crazy, dude. Because when I got to my dude, it's so crazy. When I got to my hotel, because my son say, "Hey, Kai."
Hey.
uh,
Oh, that's awesome.
but
Yo.
I was saying when I got to my hotel room, Ancient Aliens was on TV like randomly, and it literally showed the exact UFO that I saw. Like it was talking about it, and I was like, "What are the chances like of that?" Like
Yo, sometimes things, the way the universe works, it's not mere coincidence all the time. You know, those are called synchronicities, as we know. What was the other one like?
Man, it was just this light, man, and it was at a music festival, and I was on top of this mountain. Okay, I'll be there in a second.
We're
I
about to
was
wrap up.
on top of this mountain, away from all the lights, all the stages. It was pitch black up there, and I mean, it was so vivid, dude. Like I don't know what it was. Okay, and but it was, dude. It was like just like this orb of light, man. And the more I looked at it, the more it would hide. I'd have to kind of see it like at the corner of my eye. Like it was really trippy, man. I was like kind of spooked out. Like I kind of like was scared. I wanted to like go find someone, but
Yeah.
dude, it was, dude. Like I've just, I've had, presences of just something else in the room, man, where I don't think it was a ghost. Like I think it was for sure some kind of advanced like thing, man. Like I don't know.
That's
I'm pretty sure they're here, dude. Like for sure. I think they've always been here. I believe that we
yeah.
have alien race in our genes. My mom just did our ancestry recently, where it shows you like your bloodlines and everything. And she like spent the whole money on it because at first we thought we were Irish. It turns out I'm Celtic, and I actually have a percent. My indigenous background isn't like Cherokee Indian or anything like that. It literally says Sky People. And if you do your research, the Sky People were like the alien race that visited these Indian tribes. Like,
that I'm just like very confused that that is like on a legitimate like genetic
I don't
like
get it either. I don't understand.
how is that like considered like I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think we all have some bit of it inside of us, you know.
Oh yeah, like there's definitely, it's yeah, you already know what's up, dude. And
The Anunnaki, the Children of Light, the Nephilim, the Greys, like there's so many different races, you know, like that
mhm,
are pretty well documented. They're in the Emerald tablets, you know, like this is like 30,000-year-old tablets that
mhm, yep.
talk about, you know, in detail um, these experiences, man. It's just fascinating.
Yeah, dude. I had almost like the opposite of what happened to you where you were having to like like where you spotted this weird orb of light and then you it seemed to have hid from you. I had the exact opposite thing happen to me on the way down to Zen Awakening actually cuz I DJ'd down there too. It was just like on a Renegade set but basically it was like I was driving on the road late at night. It was like, Bodunk area in South Carolina, nothing around. I was the only car. And all of a sudden, like, there was this weird blinking light off, like, directly in the distance, like, all the way down the road. And I was like, something's weird about that. Like, I can tell because it's way brighter than a street light and it's like blinking in this weird way. And then all of a sudden, like, my car RPMs started to fluctuate
Yeah,
with the light blinking on and off. And I was like starting to get pretty weirded out and confused. And then it disappeared from in front of me and then showed up like super close to like the top right of my car. And I started geeking out. Like I had to call my mom because I literally thought my ass was about to get probed or some crazy stuff like that. And then so the calls kept on dropping. I was afraid. I was talking to my mom. She was like, I was telling you to be careful on that drive. I mean, I was like dead sober, dude. And like, so then once I drove past that and got through the phone call, the same blinking light all of a sudden appeared like up in the sky. And I could tell it was the same light because it was blinking at the same rate. And I was like, this is creeping me out. I was like still on the phone with my mom. I was like, I still see it. It's like, I don't like, I'm too sober for this. This doesn't make sense. So I moved like my, like the thing your visor in the car, I moved it to block it from my vision because I was like I didn't want anything to do with that. And then it would show up like on the left and be like right over there where I could see it, and I was like mm-mm. And I'd move it to like over here, and then it would show up like back there, and then I'd do that and then it'd show up over there, bro. The most weird thing. And then that was a really weird drive because it didn't even end there, dude. Like I remember apparently the address to the venue got changed or something. I ended up out in this weird like wheat field, like driving through like this gravel road. It was so spooky. And then I got out to the end finally after like 2 miles of driving down this weird dirt road with crops all around. And I was like, finally a road, dude. I thought I was about to get like fucking Children of the Corn out here or something. And then I pull onto the road, and then all of a sudden I see this car is like literally coming up on me at like 150 miles an hour. And I almost like wrecked just to get out the way because it was going to rear end me.
he was trying
And
to get out of there too.
bro, and then so I'm like, oh my God, like somebody's driving way too fast and recklessly. And then I like literally like, I'm sitting there waiting to see what car it was. And then there wasn't a car.
Yeah,
It was like ghost lights or something like that.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, man. You know, like they say that they're benevolent, but I think that there are other races that are benevolent. I think that they're not all coming from the fifth dimension. If they are coming from the fifth dimension, then they are safe. It's all love. But there's other star systems. There's other beings that aren't looking out for the best of us. But I feel like the majority of them are keeping us pretty protected. If I like to think so.
Yeah, we stand protected by our guardians, and so that's what's up, dude. Well, I'm glad we got to touch base on a little weird stuff there for a second, dude.
Yeah,
I
I enjoy
enjoyed.
it.
I had a feeling that you liked some weird stuff too. So yeah, I just want to wrap this up. Say thank you so much for the past hour and 20ish minutes, and yeah, y'all stay on the lookout for JuJu Beats. He's playing he's playing anything that's something, you know, guarantee that. And yeah, your Instagram at JuJuBeatsATL.
Correct. That's it.
Yep. Any other things you'd like to plug really quick before we conclude this episode?
Just keep an eye out for this new music coming out, man. I've been working super hard on it, and I feel like it's the best stuff that I've come up with yet. So I'm super excited about it, man. And dude, just thank you for having me, man. This was really cool, man. I hope to see you around soon, brother.
Amen.